Good. Ready? Oh, to Doug. Okay. Good evening. Welcome to the September 17, 2024 regular session of the Board of Education. This is Arthur Janeco, Vice President of the Board of Education speaking. Thank you for attending in person or through Zoom. Please note there will be three addendums to this agenda tonight. Please rise for the pledge.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, we're going to take roll.
Sure.
Due notice of this meeting has been served to each member of the Board of Education pursuant to the requirements of the law. Tina, will you please take attendance? Present.
Present. Present. Danica Capua, Superintendent for Business and Finance, District Clerk. Present. Janine McLaughlin, Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources and Leadership Development. Present. Present. Spencer, District Council, Personnel Director.
Present. May I have motion to close the public session and open the public hearing? Oh, my apologies. I'm going to close the executive session and I would need a motion to open the public session. All in favor? Any noes? None noted. If we could take a moment, please, just to observe a moment of silence for the tragedy that occurred earlier this month in the state of Georgia. Thank you. I'd like a motion to amend the agenda and to move the questions and comments section to immediately following the student recognition. All in favor? Thank you. Okay. Yeah.
All right, at this time, I'd like to ask Mr. Ramirez to come up and we are going to recognize our student athletes from the spring.
It's an honor again to be here tonight to recognize our outstanding high school students who achieved remarkable feats last spring. We had state qualifiers and Nassau County champions. Their dedication, teamwork, and hard work not only brought pride to our school, but it set an example of excellence and perseverance. And the school is deep in tradition and excellence in athletics. That's Garden City. These students are leaving a mark and contribute to the legacy of our athletic program. I want to congratulate them as individuals and as teams. We're very proud of all you've done, and we look forward to another great year. I'm going to pull all of them up, and I ask that they remain up here until everyone else is up here with them and we'll take a picture. Starting with our 4x400 boys relay team, they were state qualifiers. Tonight here with us, Donald McDonough and Connor Wellcroft. Also part of that team with Joseph Bonomi and Jim Deegan, who are now in college. Our boys 4x800 Nassau County champions. That would be Colin Crane, James Egan, Tyler McLeay, and Patrick Egan, who's also here. I believe we have members of our girls track team here. Sure. Members of our girls track team, 4x400 relay. They were Nassau County champions. Sophia Origo, who's now at, I believe, Pitt, Kira Likanidis, Taylor McGuire, and Jennifer Roller. Okay. And definitely last but not least, our 2024 Nassau County champion girls lacrosse team who won a 4th consecutive title. here with us today, and I won't name the whole roster, just name who's here today. Kyle Fennell, Arcangela Hafner, Megan Lynch, Catherine Monaco, Tori Ottamanelli, Avery Smith. Did I leave anyone out? No? So obviously, I say this all the time. We become numb to the success here of the athletic program because they do so well, so often, so many times. To have this many young men and women stand up at a board meeting and be recognized as champions and state qualifiers is actually rare. I know you guys don't believe that here in Garden City, but it is. Congratulations. We appreciate all the work and the way that you carry yourselves and represent Garden City. We look forward to a big year. No pressure. But congratulations, take a bow, well earned. And I want to thank, we have a couple of coaches. We have some coaches here. I do apologize. Our coaches, many of them are coaching presently, so they could not make it. But here tonight with us is Coach McDonald and Coach Dreyer from the track team. Please come up.
Take it. Yeah. Oh, Mr. Ramirez, why don't you get in the picture, Mr. Ramirez? Okay. There we go. Perfect. Hope you all fit there. Yay.
And then I'll hand the mic back, but I do want to thank the Board of Education, Dr. Sinha administration, and Mr. Steingrubner. Without their support, the success of athletes and programs does not happen. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ramirez, and thank you to our student athletes. You guys work so hard, and it's a pleasure watching you guys out on the fields or in our gymnasiums. You're amazing. So thank you for all that you do. Continue to work hard, and I know you're going to continue to shine. And I also wanted to take a minute to just thank Gerard, who is from Syntax. This is his last week here. So I know he'll be here for the remainder of this week. So we thank you for all your hard work and thank you for being with us.
Thank you and congratulations to all our athletes. At this time, Dana, can you give the treasurer's report?
Thank you. This is the treasurer's report for July 2024. We had a cash balance of the beginning of the month of $58,167,518. We had receipts during July of $1,084,706. We had disbursements of $7,282,272, leaving us with a closing balance of $51,969,953. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Sinha, the superintendent's report, please.
Okay. So, we have two presentations this evening, one with really regarding our safety and security with Commissioner Jackson here and Lieutenant Grimes. And then after that, we will have Ms. McGuire giving us a report around technology. So maybe do you want me to continue with my report or wait till those are done? Continue? Okay. All right. So, just one item that I did want to address, we had a wonderful opening of schools and it's nice to have obviously our schools open with our kids here and they seem very happy and our staff as well. So we've had a wonderful, wonderful opening and do want to thank the commissioner and his crew for assisting us every year with the support that you give us to all of our buildings in the beginning of the school year and throughout the year. Our back to school nights have begun. We have at Hemlock tonight is a back to school night. We had the high school, the middle school, Stratford, and we have a couple more buildings left. So we'll have that. and we're really looking forward to a wonderful year ahead. Wanted to address some questions that I've received around transportation, which is, has been for the last 2 weeks, our buses being delayed. And that's something very, our transportation director, Ms. Green, and her team, they're working on addressing some of those concerns. An area that was brought to us actually after school opened is one of the private schools that we work with. Their dismissal procedures were changed, which we were not aware of. So we've been working with them. It's been better this week, our transportation. We have a couple of more items that we're working through. And so our goal is to make sure our students arrive to school on time and they get home on time. So there's a little bit more work to be done in that area for us. And then on the agenda, we have, we wanted to thank, you'll see there's 2 community members for the audit committee. We wanted to thank our community members who applied for that position. And we have so many qualified people within our community. So we thank, you'll see those 2 appointments on there on the agenda. And then the last item that I had was on just homecoming. Homecoming is this Saturday. We haven't had a parade in a long, long time, after many years. I think the last one we had was maybe 4 years ago. So we're very excited. I really want to thank Mr. Steingrubner, who's here, him and his high school team they do a lot of work to get this homecoming and the parade going. So thank you for that. Our PTA is very much involved with this. SEPTA, the village has been very supportive, as has our commissioner of police, and just making sure everything is set for our homecoming day parade. I also want to thank, again, the PTA, Donna Kraus, Ms. Donna Kraus. She's done quite a bit of work behind the scenes for the parade as well, along with SEPTA and the Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Wilton, he's the director. He's helped quite a bit also working with Ms. Kraus for the parade. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sinha. Any news to share from the board? Any members of the board? Okay, thank you. Given with the addendum, we will move now to the question and comments section of the public meeting. When you please come up, please state your name and address.
My name is Robert Cattell, and my address is 62 Osborne Road, Garden City. And before I read my prepared remarks, I really want to congratulate the board on the great work that you do for the young people in Garden City. As I think I mentioned earlier, I have 12 of my grandchildren going through the Garden City school system. 4 of them have gotten into good colleges. So I really do appreciate the work that you do and keep up the good work. So thank you for that. Okay, good evening. I'm Robert B. Cattell, and along with former Mayor Frank Torsius, have been asked to serve as co-chairs of the Village of Garden City Board of Trustees, St. Paul's Advisory Committee. The Village Board of Trustees has asked us to meet with interested parties and village organizations to listen to their perspectives regarding the type of programs and services that could be provided to residents at the St. Paul's main building. Frank Torsius and I have met with various professionals over the summer and will continue to meet with residents and other interested parties this fall. We've learned about opportunities and concerns regarding the main building from engineers, architects, and various youth organizations. These conversations will be summarized in a report that will be provided to the Board of Trustees this fall. Our shared history of thoughtful service to and for residents suggests that the village and the school board evaluate current opportunities to reduce the cost to residents of state-mandated programs such as Universal K instruction, potential programs such as continuing ed courses in artificial intelligence and STEM. We should explore building space swaps between the village and school district to meet school space needs in order to house universal pre-K and a growing school population. Now, I'm not an expert in this subject. You guys are the experts, and that's why we need your input. Former Mayor Torsius and I are confident that there are numerous possibilities, additional joint actions we can take to reduce residents' costs while increasing resident services. Frank Torsius and I are aware and sensitive to the potential obstacles of any joint action. Most notable is St. Paul's parkland designation that has preserved this invaluable property for residents from private commercial use. We're open to various paths forward that assist the Board of Ed in reducing its costs without triggering the legal bar of alienation of parkland. What we're requesting is that one or two representatives of the board, along with the superintendent, meet with our committee to explore the opportunities to find a path forward to reduce costs and maximize the benefits to the residents of Garden City. So thank you for your time and attention. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Any questions from the members of the board?
Questions, but I appreciate you coming here. It's obviously a very important issue, and to the extent that you want to reach out and, have members of the community collaborate with you, representing, from the aspect of the schools, I think reach out to Kazoom or.
Yeah, what I'd like to do, if it's possible, is to work with Dr. Sina on representatives from the school board and yourself who can meet with our committee, and we can discuss possibilities. We're open to listening. We really want to try to find out what's the best way forward. I know this has been a very controversial subject for a lot of years. Sometimes wonder why I volunteered to do this, but I think it really is in the long-term best interest of the village that we try to find out a good use for that. And the Board of Ed, the education is part of it. You guys are part of it. I don't have to tell you that. So if it's okay, I'll reach back to you and we can arrange to meet with whoever you designate. So we really appreciate that. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much. And sincerely, gentlemen, thank you, because this is a thankless task. It's definitely a very polarizing topic, and that's right. But thank you very much for reaching out. We appreciate that. Any other questions or comments?
Angela Muto, 117 Kingsbury Road. Just a quick reminder that in the beginning of last year, there were a number of parents' concerns about sixth grade mathematics curriculum. And I spoke to Dr. Sinha and a few people at the time. And I think we came to some realization that the curriculum needed a little bit of editing at the time. And I'm just wondering if that was tabled or if there were some changes made, because I'm realizing that there are a number of parents asking again for tutors for their children in the beginning of the sixth grade, the first week of school. And as soon as I hear that, my radar goes up, and I know that that's a curriculum issue that can probably be resolved by editing that curriculum just in the beginning of the year, the first 1 or 2 units. So thank you for just letting me give you that reminder.
Thank you very much. Okay, at this point, we'd like to move to Commissioner Jackson and his update on safety and security. There you go.
I usually don't need a microphone. I got a big mouth. I just wanted to say that every year we start actually in July, or actually we start right after graduation, but in August we really go full board with Dr. Sinha and her staff. And as a police commissioner for 12 and a half years and a 43-year veteran police officer, I really cherish the relationship I have with the school district, the board, and also Dr. Sinha and the staff. You are very lucky to have this staff. They really care about your children. And I'm also including all the principals. One of them is here who I know very well, and the other staff at all the schools. What you have here, you should be cherished. When it comes to security, they really care. They really listen to us, and they're open to criticism. And that's when you're a trainer like I am, that's important. We also want to thank Lou and Don from Covert. They're, again, excellent partners, and I feel sometimes they're an extension of us and an extension of the school district when it comes to the safety of our children and staff. So in August, I start the school year basically off, and beginning of August, myself and Lieutenant Grimes, who was just promoted to lieutenant. We meet up with Dr. Sinha and Don Flynn and Lou and Dana and all the other staff, and we go over what went well last year, what could have been done better, the new additions that they've done. They're done very well. They have some ideas moving forward, which I'm very encouraged by, and we go over some of the programs we have, some of the issues that other districts are having, and we like to go over all the go through all the buildings that we cherish in this village to make sure they're safe for our children. So after that meeting, I then meet with the village, all the school administrators and the supervisory staff of each school, along with the bus garage personnel. And as I told the board, criticizing is one thing. I like to tell each school what they did well last year, the things that I saw that are well. And I think that's good training for all the other schools and all the other teachers to hear. Because when you hear because every school will not have the same problems or the same issues. And when you tell the rest of the staff what I thought went well in one school could help another principal or assistant principal or even somebody from the bus garage. So, and I think that went well. And I like doing it that way because, nobody wants to be told what they do wrong all the time. Let's go over what we did right and what we can do better to make things safer. And that's what I like to do. So then after that meeting, we start with Dr. Sinha, Dana, Lou, and Rob Foley. And we go through every single school and building in this village, in the school district. And we check the doors, the locks, the windows. We go through we have special knock boxes and we go through a building plans. We make sure everything's up to date. Make sure all keys are up to date. Make sure access points are up to date. And we make sure all the cameras are working. They have many new additions, which is very welcome by this department. And again, with their provider, his assistance and cooperation has been very good. And we also, we test all the landlines to make sure the 911 lines are going to the Garden City Police Department. And we also put the AAA banner back on the Stewart School. I think the village's, the board for the school board has been very obliging by letting us put there because, as I explained to them, we have 23,000 residents in this village. We have 58,000 people who use Clinton Stewart alone. So that just tells you we're sending a message to a lot of people. So thank you for that. We also, we are in the process of now we'll be testing soon all the Rave app buttons. That's the buttons that are on the phone. They push the button when there's a situation that we need to respond to in a hurry. And that's good. Also, the Rave gives the opportunity for a teacher or a staff to give us information. I know you probably hear in the news, some other places have ID cards where you can push a button and you can set, alarm. The Rave app allows you to tell us what's going on, what the other one doesn't. So I think it's a good program and we will do the testing. Again, when we work with staff, it's really goes over well and I'm really encouraged by the results. All right, in addition to all that, I publish 4 back to school safety articles every year. I think we're up to number 3, but they're on safe driving practices, school bus safety, pedestrian, bicycle safety, and stranger danger. They're also on my website, but they're also in the paper. I believe this week, number 2, and I think number 3 is coming out this Friday. And number 4 will be following. Okay, school starts. Dr. Sinha, Mr. Janico mentioned it. We're in the schools from the start. Actually, I'm with Kevin at the high school before it opens with all his principals. We have somebody at every single school when school starts. We meet with the staff. We want to make sure they're okay with everything, any concerns they need us to attend to. And it's good for my officers to meet, especially if there's new people, new personnel. And some of my officers are new. So it's good for everybody to meet because you never know when that meeting will help lead to a safe evacuation or a safe assistance or rendering of aid. In addition to that, my youth officer, a lot of people know he's Detective Romeo's, but a lot of the children call him Officer Rich. I'm sorry, that's the old one, Officer Steve. And he's in school every day along with Detective Hennessy in the afternoon. We also, our patrol officers, they all have assigned posts, and they're all tasked with going through the schools once or twice a day as part of their daily assignments. Some of them are school resource officers, and we're trying to train them as much as we can. We already done, I believe, 4 lockdown drills and lockdown drills, which is pretty good this early in the year. So far, I believe Lieutenant Grimes will say things have gone well.
Yes.
Okay, good. Also, this month, we will have extra traffic patrols. I have a grant. I apply for a grant every year. They seem to like my results, my department's results. And then for the month of September, we use a grant to help us increase enforcement all around the schools, which we're again trying to create a more safer environment. And we've been successful in that. Okay, also Detective Lieutenant Grimes, he goes to, every Tuesday, he goes to countywide intelligence meetings, and he also goes to school intelligence meetings. Today we went over 19 pages of stuff. So this tells you what's going on. We learned what's going on in other districts, what other police departments are facing, what they've done to address them, and we also exchange information, and we go over, what was done to address each issue. If you read the papers, there've been a lot of issues going on in some other school districts, and we use that as a learning tool with our people also. And again, I receive daily intel reports every day. I get many reports, and I do relay a lot of the information I received to Dr. Sinha. I always joke about it, but it's not really a joke. She's the only person I know who answers my phone at 3 in the morning. And we go over a lot of things. And I will call her at 3 or 4 in the morning if I think there's something that she needs to know about in a hurry. And she will pick up the phone and answer me, which is none of my people do that, but she does. So again, I could go on and on. I'm a good talker, but I just want to say that I value my interaction with this crew. I think it's an excellent crew, and they really work with me. I could be a very demanding person, just ask my people who work for me, but they reach every challenge I give them. They make improvements as I ask for, and they share information with me and teach me things that I need to know. So I do appreciate the partnership that we have with you, and I wanted to keep it going. And again, I have a very good staff. If anybody has any issues with my staff, please contact me. But I really cherish what we do together, and I think we work very hard to keep our children safe. And I just hope that, our partnership continues. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Jackson. And just to echo the same sentiment, speaking with other boards, I know that they're not as fortunate to have the type of relationship that we do with RPD. So I sincerely, on behalf of the board and district, I'd like to thank you for all your hard work and really a task that is really all or nothing. And it's very, very difficult. It's a difficult task. Thank you. Just a question for you, sir. Is there anything that you feel that we could do better as a district and as a board?
Somebody touched on it earlier. Our biggest concern is, I think we've done an excellent job during the school time, went during regular hours. My always concern is every year you have sports outside, and that's adds, so we call it span of control. We're a police department. We like our span of control. Right now, everything is in the building. But more in when we talk about athletics, the span of control expands. It's actually for you also. The principals, the coaches, what you have to control expands. And like I said, when you have children going in and out of school, doors become a chance to be open and unsecure. Windows, I always stress, the incidents are less and less every year. But every once in a while, we find an open window in the middle of the night. We had some incidents where children forgot their books and climbed through a window, which is very dangerous because the officers get alarmed and they're going in there, we're armed. And we don't want that interaction. But again, something like that happens, I call Dr. Sinha right away, and really that we tighten things up. But I'll be honest with you, I think you guys do a great job with all that. But there are times, and it's going to happen, children are children, and there's lapses. So if we can just a little more diligent when it comes to, the children going out of school, especially during sports or other activities, that would helpful. But again, if I'm talking like that, I'm really, I admire what you guys have done so far. And I think, as I said, you always can improve. And that's one area, maybe we can take a look at. But again, I don't think it's that bad at this point in time, but it's an area that always constantly changes, right? I mean, every year you have a different grade coming in, so you have to retrain them. And I do appreciate the effort. And I work with Kevin all the time. I mean, this guy's here, he works as many hours as I do sometimes. And what we go through and we talk together about everything, it's a really good thing. And I really appreciate his cooperation.
Thank you so much. And, really, again, I have to tell you, being an educator, when I was interviewed as a teacher, there was a question posed and I was stumbling for the answer. And my then AP that became my principal, she looked me dead in the eye and she asked a question about safety. And she said, without safety, there is no instruction. So I sincerely thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Are there any questions from the board? Okay, thank you so much again, gentlemen, for all your hard work. At this time, we will transition into the update on cybersecurity and student internet safety. You want to mind?
Oh, that's just good. I'll take
Sure.
it. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. So Dr. Sinha asked me to attend tonight's meeting to give just some updates to the community and the board about some changes we've made with regards to instructional technology in the district. So I'm just going to backtrack a little bit to June. We decided this past June to collect devices from all students K through 6. There are a few reasons for that, and I'm going to kind of talk about the impacts of that moving forward. But we decided to do that and really kind of take inventory, repairs. We've been having a lot of issues with repairs over the last few years. And so really for us, it was a good inventory time, but it was also time for us to kind of think about, did kids need devices over the summer? Do kids need devices in those grades after school hours? So it really made us take pause, think about what we've heard from some parents and some community members about that. And so moving forward, we decided to keep devices in school. For K through 5 students, devices will remain in the classrooms. We purchased charging stations for them so they can use them. There are certain reasons for it, and there's certain it is a tool in the classroom. We do have CBT testing now, grades 3 through 8. So we do need to get them proficient on Chromebooks and things like that. But we really thought about the impacts of when these devices go home. We have filtering systems. We sat over the summer, we worked with the vendor hours, my team and I, to really look at and explore all of the different features we have in there and how can we best protect our kids? Because as you just said, Mr. Janeco, without safety, there's no instruction. And so that's really what our role is, and I'm a teacher. That's most of my career at this point. So for me, is it benefiting instruction? Is it enhancing instruction? And if not, then we really felt that this was a good time to pause this. And I think that initiative was really just a leftover from COVID. It was just something we continued to do because we did it for a few years and this was a good time to make the break. So I wanted to discuss that. We also decided that And we communicated this and we spoke with the building principals. We really wanted to do this the right way. We wanted to make sure that everybody was clear. We wanted to communicate this with the teachers. I even saw some slides for Stratford's back to school night that included this and kind of the why behind this. As I was saying, we were really focused on making sure our filtering was secure, that everything we were doing, we decided to continue blocking YouTube. That has been a long time issue for us because even with some of the features that are on it, that are built into any of these systems, even though we knew that we were blocked K-5, we expanded it to K-8. We just really don't want kids wandering around. And I really know it ties into what the One District, One Book talks about with the anxious generation. Now, I saw the slide that the PTA put out about would you release your kids into Times Square? And I think that was a very impactful slide for me to think about because, we don't want them. We know that part of our initiative is, and part of our education now is about educating them about being good, being safe online. How can they protect themselves? But it's important for us to protect them as well. Having said all of that and doing all of the things that we did this summer to really be considerate about how we are protecting them, we also know that nothing is 100%. And there's no guarantee. Nobody can guarantee that. And anybody who says that is falsifying their information. We are subscribed at this point in my department to YouTube channels that are created by 14-year-olds that are titled How to Get Around Your School Filter. And they have 12,000 subscribers. I mean, there are kids out here doing this. There are adults making this content. So we're constantly doing this battle. So at this time, we've done certain things. And compared to other districts, some of the things we're doing, I think, are a little more stringent. I'm okay with it. I know there's been some discussion in the middle school because the teachers, by the way, have access to it. So they can vet the videos that they want to share with their students in the classroom. We have a tool that they have often used to embed some of the YouTube videos to send home as assignments. That right now has been a little bit of difficulty, but we're working through that. We're coming up with some workarounds so that we can whitelist specific tools that they have vetted for science or for social studies reasons or something like that. And we're trying to give them the power to be able to do that so it doesn't always have to be another ticket in the system to try to process for them. So moving forward now, we're again keeping them in the schools for a K-5. We're not sending them home. It was kind of getting to the point of they were going home just to charge anyway. And I think that was a lot of the feedback we were getting. So we wanted to be responsive and listen to that. And so that's what we're doing. We're also focused on talking with the building principals about unsupervised screen time and really having like no screen zones in the buildings because it was unbeknownst to me in some cases, but having things on an indoor recess. Kids should not be on devices at indoor recess. They shouldn't be on devices at the cafeteria. They should be socializing, playing games. I know the PTA at the elementary buildings usually brings like game boxes in and the kids have things to do. And I think we're really trying to look at opportunities where we can foster that engagement and foster that socialization and not have it be on a screen. So we've been talking with the principals about that. I'm actually hoping to kind of build that as an initiative where the kids get involved in it and can help start creating kind of a vibe around that. We're also really focused on the computer science and digital fluency standards, which I think ties in perfectly with everything here because so much of that is about digital citizenship. And digital citizenship is about being responsible. It's being safe for yourself. It's having them have some sense of responsibility around it as well. We did a lot of summer curriculum work. We have two great staff developers. I can't say enough about this team. And they worked, and we had some teachers participate in the project, some library media specialists working on curriculum. We actually were able to share out with the K-5 teachers a great curriculum that they developed that is basically a weekly activity. It's tied to one of the standards. We started out strong with things about online safety, not sharing passwords, things about screen time, things about when to put down the device. And it's age appropriate. We did a K1 version, a 2-3 version, 4-5. And basically the teachers can pull it up on the screen, starts the discussion about one of these topics. It's tied into the standards and we've tied activities to them. So if they want to continue with that, and we've asked them to do it weekly. We actually have teachers now who are like, can we do it daily? And we're like, well, we don't quite have enough content for that yet, but do what works well for your classroom. So they're very excited about it. And I think it was important for us to just give them something that didn't require a heavy lift for them. So it's impactful and they're using it. So we're really partnering with them. In the middle school will be doing a lot of work with it, with the technology courses. And I don't mean like computer technology, but some of it is coding, some of it is engineering. But those teachers we've been working with, they're part kind of our team, and they'll be doing some of that work with us, especially in the Kid Oyo class. And in the high school, a lot of it is English department. It's library media specialists. We have such a strong library media specialist here, Mrs. Colemo, who works with so many classes, pushes in. She just has been doing digital literacy before it was fashionable. And she's really somebody that is such a huge asset to this community here. We've also been doing partnerships with some of our vendors. I'm kind of like, a lot of people want to work with Garden City. What can you do for me? So one of them is Apple. And so the Apple Store in Garden City is working with us and has offered, and I spoke to the PTA about this, has offered to do a training for parents. So parents can go to the Apple Store and learn a little bit about the devices, not just the iPads, I mean more of the phones, how you can control certain things, parental controls. Now there's some new features in the new iOS where Face ID, you can lock some of the apps. So they're willing to, because I said, that's where we are. Some parents don't give kids devices and that's their prerogative, and some parents do. And when we're doing it, let's be mindful of how we're doing that. So we're just trying to decide on a date. We'll probably do that this fall and start the first session, and maybe we'll do a nighttime and a daytime. So I've been talking to Lucinda about coordinating with that. And part of that actually partnership with Apple came from, the devices that we have in K1. And we've really kind of parked those for the most part. And really what we started doing, and Locust was a good example of this, is working with them on what are some ways, if we have the devices, something like an iPad can be so beneficial to certain things, not to go play your math practice game, not to go just do vowels, sorts and things like that, but really how can it help impact instruction? How can you take that outside for science and do a nature walk? How can you look around the classroom? Maybe we're doing the consonants and we're looking for something with the, cha-cha sound. So take pictures of that, put it in Book Creator, write a little something to go with that. So we're looking at more meaningful ways of interacting with the device and really being mindful of very small periods of time on the device. And that was something that at one of the PTA exec boards last year, we were talking about, and I said, I think a lot of this boils down to the communication around it. Just because we have the devices doesn't mean they're in use all day. And so it's kind of like, I feel like it's my job, get out there and have people understand that this is not something that the kids are staring at a screen all day in any of these courses. So they were really a great partner in that. And they understood our vision. And I said, I know you want to sell products, but we don't want kids on these devices. We're not here to sell the products for you either. So the learning at the Apple Store will be great. Like as I said, our tech team is fabulous. Mike DeVola, Lauren LaBelle have been working so hard in the buildings, working with teachers, and they are doing some PTA. Mike starts tomorrow at the middle school. He'll be participating at the PTA meeting. They'll be bouncing around to all of the PTA meetings at some point. Tomorrow, I know he's focused on a little bit about the parent portal. Oh, which actually I should speak about. That was important. Part of our filter has a piece that when we sent out the acceptable use policies, I put a link into and some information about, we had a huge spike in participation in it. What it is you can get a weekly summary of your child's online activities based on their Google account, based on being on the Chromebook. So it's really for anybody who's on the Chromebook, not so much the iPads because they don't sign into it. But by signing up for that, every Sunday night, you get kind of a listing of their top websites and what their activity was. And as part of that, you can click on a link in there and go into the parent portal, sign up for that. The parent portal is great because you can go in and have some control over it. And we were talking at the PTA meeting today about it. And I said, sometimes you don't want to fight with your kid about being on the device. I'm talking even your 14, 15, 16-year-olds. You can if you're signed up for it, you can on your own device, turn it off. You can turn off internet for a certain amount of time. You can pause browsing. You'll have certain controls within that app without ever having to go have the argument if you don't want to. As a parent, I know sometimes you have to pick your battle. It's part of the parent portal. It's not the school tool parent portal. It's called Lightspeed. It was in the Parent Square, and we have it on we have an online tools for parents page also. I can send it to you also, yeah. But we had a huge spike in that where we had maybe 200 people. Now I have over 400 before I came here tonight. So every Friday or Saturday morning, I usually upload more parents to it, and seems to be pretty successful. And so we're trying to encourage that some more, and the middle school and the high school really could benefit the most because now that devices aren't going home, there's not as much of a need for 2 through 5. I think that's about everything I have. Am I missing anything? 'Cause-
No, you're not.
Okay. Sorry, I talked a little longer than I thought.
I'm just saying.
There is the children in sixth grade received Chromebooks, right?
They're starting to, yes, yes. We're rolling that out. We got them at about 11 o'clock today, and the staff there were a little excited about it. So it was fun because we bought, I should speak to that, right? For grade 6, 7, and 8. We've had a lot of troubles here at the at the middle school, not you, Kevin, sorry, with some repairs and stuff. And it's become an ongoing issue. So we decided to clear out all of the old stuff, redeploy what we could. That was part of our summer projects, and use those for our loaner devices. Send out for repair what we could, send some up here for loaner devices and spread them out. And we purchased for 6, 7, 8 new devices. They're not the fancy flip backwards, do all this great stuff. It's a great device. It's got a touch screen. It takes any stylus, which was always our problem. Like, what stylus works with it? You can go buy one at Five Below and use it. It has a removable keyboard. Keys are a thing. The kids like the keys. Keyboards pop. So this is removable. We can replace them in house. It'll save us some time from sending them out all the time. So there were certain particulars that I was looking for. Case, yes, and we bought cases. So they come in a nice zip up case. It's a sturdy case. I actually spoke to the guy who lost some business from me because he's a repair vendor who told me this is the case you should buy to protect your devices. And I said, great. We were looking at some other ones. This one was terrific, and it came in our budget. So we decided roll it out for 6, 7, and 8. And so we started today. Yes, we were excited. And I have to say that we were unboxing and starting to try to tempo it to have an assembly line going. Teachers started jumping in on their preps today, and they were like, we'll help you. And the kids were excited. And what we're doing with this, though, is very purposeful, because I really feel like when you're handed something that's kind of old and battered a little bit, you don't have as much pride in it. Maybe you're not taking care of it as much. So, I had a whole spiel with them today about, this is a great new device. Look at how beautiful it is. Keep it that way. If you turn it in, you're getting a junky device while you're waiting for this one to go out for repair. So, we had some education about that. We've reminded them, we have a great graphic that Mike and Lauren designed. So now when they sign into the device, that's their wallpaper. They're not going to like it. They can't change it, but you're going to be reminded, don't, no food or drink. Don't share your passwords. Don't this and that. Exactly. We have actually developed kind of a little education program surrounding it. So our hopes had been to kind of send it home as a homework assignment, but that's been a bit of a thing. So we're going to do it in the classrooms. The technology teacher, everybody cycles through them at some point. And so we've shared that out with them, and Mr. Samuelson's been very receptive of that, and they'll be using that as a lesson to introduce that. And also the faculty will be getting it at their faculty meeting. As a reminder, I think the biggest thing, and this is what I kind of want to stress, and then I'll wrap it up, is that we're all in it. We're all in it together. We all have to share information and be communicative. I have to communicate with parents. I have to communicate with the staff, and I want the same communication back. So it's kind of like, if you're hearing anything, I'd love to hear about it. Any rumblings about something, I want to hear about it. I don't, I'm very reactive to things. You want it done, it's done. But I also want it to be a partnership, because I think that's what this whole thing is about, is the partnership. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that presentation. Any questions from the board? I just have, question/request. The Apple Store information and basically all of the information that you were referring to. I understand that it's on the website. Would it be possible if we could just put a link out on social media just to say, hey, click here for all of the parent resources type of stuff?
Absolutely. Yep. We'll just do a link to the website somehow. maybe
And
put some
just
things in.
get, so we can beef up some of those numbers,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
have,
definitely. We'll link it directly, maybe even to that portal, directly to the portal piece where you can sign up for it. We have
Yep,
there's a
that would be great.
form then. Okay, sounds great.
And you know, Gerard
idea.
can also assist with that.
Yep.
So you
Sounds
can
good.
put it up on the social media sites
Yeah,
to
we'll
go
make
to
a
that
nice-
website.
We'll make a nice post and we'll
Mhm.
put those links in. Great.
Yeah.
And I just want to address the fact too, thank you, because I know that this was a point that was brought up in a couple of public meetings last school year. And thank you for moving ahead with it and really taking a break with the children over the summer and not enough getting them away from the devices. Thank you. Another charger to get lost in the mix.
Exactly.
Okay, moving now to the consent agenda. To make more efficient use of meeting time, the Board of Education authorizes the use of a consent agenda as a part of the meeting agenda. Consent agenda allows for one motion.
To accept the agenda.
I did accept the agenda. Okay. No, thank you for letting me know. A consent agenda allows for one motion to approve multiple items, and such items are identified as such on the agenda. The president of the board will ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda and will ask if board members wish to have a discussion and/or clarification on specific items contained within the consent agenda. Following the discussion, the board will then vote on the consent agenda motion. In addition, a board member may request to have an item removed from the consent agenda in order to vote on the motion separately. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes business of board items I1 through I4, personal matters J1 through J10, business office matters items K1 through K9, curriculum and instruction matter L1, and special education matters items M1 through M8.
Second.
All in favor? Are there any noes? None noted. Okay, addendums, donation to extra class fund of Garden City Middle School. Be it resolved that the Board of Education accepts a donation in the amount of $5,445 from the Garden City Middle School Extra Classroom Activity Fund towards the cost of the sixth grade field day Nassau BOCES Art in Ed program. Be it further resolved that the Board of Education approves an increase in the 2024-2025 general fund revenue and appropriation budget code A2110.490.10.1000 in the amount of $5,445 for this purpose. All in favor? Nope, sorry. May I have a motion? All in favor? Any noes? None noted. Consultant Services Agreement, Center for Forensic and Clinical Psychology, PC. Be it resolved that the Board of Education approves consultant services agreement with the Center of Forensic and Clinical Psychology, PC, for training in behavioral threat assessment and consultation services as described on Schedule A of the consultant contract. Be it further resolved that the Board of Education authorize the board president to execute said agreement on its behalf. All in favor? Are there any noes? None noted. Are there any new business from the board? Any new business from the administration? Announcements, future Board of Education meetings, Tuesday, October 8th, 2024, Board of Education Public Work Session at 8:15 if needed. And Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024, Board of Education Regular Session at 8:15, both here at the high school. May I have a motion that the board move into executive session to discuss matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of any particular person? All in favor? None noted. That